how to know who the enemy is. And we say enemy would be someone who's working against you. Well, if you're working also against someone else, you're then their enemy. And it's actually who's interfering with what I want to accomplish or what I want to do. All right, anyway. If you want to know about this enemy, just watch your mind, because it's not yours. And a lot of people, they don't get that. It's not an apparatus. You don't, the mind is not in the brain. I like the idea that the brain is liquid crystal in that sense. It's an instrument. It's it's a link up, between the mind and then the body. So it's that middle part. If you watch your thoughts, the difference between a divine being and an enemy, meaning we could be their enemy and they could be our enemy because we're working against each other, whatever that is, because of envy, because of the programming that there is a real enemy outside of ourselves in that sense. So it keeps us fighting then. We have to fight the enemy. Well, resistance is persistence in that sense. That does not mean you go along with what's happening if you don't like that, but yet when you emotionalize it and you get involved in it, this is from the mind. And you have to know, you don't need to go take a psychology course and any of that to figure out what, because those are labels, those are definitions. You need to know for yourself. And all you have to do is watch it, and notice and put little signs for yourself. What are you thinking? What's going? Interrupt those times. Get something that brings you back. A lot of what I do with retreats and people who come for mentoring and then come from their private retreats and such is to really get them so that they know and are the distinction between themselves and the mind, so they're no longer run by the programming, and they have the tools to really keep empowering themselves, plus which is really empowering all other divine beings and enriching. And it really means getting rid of the veils of ignorance. And if you watch the mind, and if you actually believe the mind, that's not your friend. So it'd be a foe, wouldn't it? If you have a friend and a foe. Now, true friends are absolute, and there is no opposite to a true friend. The divine is our beloved partner, soulmate, And when you watch that mind, and then what the fear, the anxiety that's caught, what are the thoughts, or the getting even, or if it's a grudge, or I want to prove I'm right and you're wrong, even if proving I'm right is not working for the welfare of all living entities, so that every choice that we make now is that which benefits all, including Earth and the animals and nature itself. Because we have to get ourselves to our natural state of a real divine being, a real human being, a real divine being, a real being real. And we are reality. We are real. And all that is real and eternal is us. And for me, it's Divine Mother, Father, God, or the Divine God, Goddess, or the supreme beings that we are, in a sense, equal to, and yet not the totality. You see, we're part of, drawing from that reservoir of divine love and creativity, variety. People think there's variety in the material realm. It isn't. It's you know, no matter what you gain or you don't have, it's really all really the same in that sense. And you just keep going in that same repetitive situation. When you're in the now, and that's what takes the work, the meditation, the sense of knowing the distinction, having those tools to, so that, and also in that mentoring of what it takes for you to achieve all that you desire, to do your work, you see, as a divine being. And that's where the satisfaction is. That's where the fulfillment is. That's where the prosperity is, because you never allow outer conditions to stop you from being who you are. Because it's the obsolete always appearing. It's the effect. It is the creation or the manifestation. So you want to be at the center. That means you at your center being fully immersed, breathing it in. And as you do this, this has to be done repetitively, because notice how we're repetitively going to the mind and having the mind be our judge, and then how it criticizes. Why? Look, why do you do that? Why are you doing that? What's going on with you? If you have envy, why are you finding fault? What is it? What are you doing? But see, you have to be so honest that you're really truly you don't want to have anything to defend, promote, or protect. You don't need that in that sense of who you are. You want to know what is that absolute truth, and you are the absolute truth. You are part of that which is all that is the absolute. That's it. There is no opposite. Opposite comes when we split something, when we fracture it, when we cause a fracture of the mind, or a fracture like a prism of light as it goes through, or what we call light, darkness, and it then gets fractured into various color aspects of that one. So you don't need to fracture yourself into all of these parts, and to be fully conscious and aware of how it's all working. This is what we do. You need to know that, because otherwise you get caught back up in it. You're part of it. You're a victim of it, and it just gets perpetuated, and you go deeper and deeper into it, believing that's the absolute and that's true when it's the obsolete. And see, what happens in the shift is the person shifts from being centered in the divine to then being centered into the, you might say, computer system. You're choosing one or the other. Shift back to the now. But this is the key. Watch that mind. Pay attention. Notice. See. Then you'll know. And you'll know what I'm talking about. You see. Right there. Know your enemy. You see. And when you do, you know how it functions, how it works. It's no longer your enemy. Because now you are victorious.